Ah, dang it. Oop, sorry. Hi, we're back. I think we left off right here. Sorry, technical difficulties. So if I repeated myself, I don't know where I left off. Anyway, these things are perpendicular. We knew that because they sold us the slopes are perpendicular. So all we got to do now is write the equation of line B. So line B is right here. We see that it has a y-intercept of -6. So our equation is going to be y equals the opposite reciprocal of 4 is -1/4 x, and our y-intercept is not 9, it's -6. So that's the equation of line B. Number 10 is exactly the same as number 9. I'm going to spare it to you because you're watching enough of me today. Turn the page. Lines A and B are perpendicular without graphing. So basically we're doing the same thing, except this time we're not graphing. So line A has the equation of y equals 3x plus 7, so there's our slope. So line B has a perpendicular slope of, if this has a slope of 3, perpendicular means it has an opposite reciprocal, so it's -1/3. The cool part is you've done this a million times already, several times. This is x, this is y, this is m. Guess what you're going to find? B. So all you do is plug in x, y, and the new slope, the perpendicular slope, to find B. So you go, y, which is 7, equals -1/3, which is the slope, times 3 plus b, and you simplify. So 7 equals -1/3 times 3. If that simplifies to -1 plus b, add 1, and you get b equals 8. So this equation for line B has this slope and this y-intercept, so the answer is y equals -1/3 x plus 8, which is what we just found. Okay, I'm going to skip number 12. It's the same thing. All I'm going to do is tell you that the perpendicular slope would be the opposite reciprocal of that. So if this is +1/2, the opposite reciprocal would be -2. Then you'd plug in x, y, and find b and write the equation. Find the slope of each equation. Find the slope of a line that is parallel to the given line and perpendicular. So right now, I'm going to start with number 14, and we're going to go back to number 13 and then do 15. So 14, we have the slope is 1/2. So the slope of the given line is 1/2. Parallel slopes are the same, so it's 1/2. What's the perpendicular slope? It's the opposite reciprocal of that, so it's -2. Let's do number 15. Y equals 4. What's missing in this problem? Hopefully you said x is missing. Well, isn't it really y equals 0x plus 4? Well, the slope of the given line then must be 0. Parallel slopes are the same as the given slope, so it is 0. And what is perpendicular to a 0 slope? Remember, this is 0 fun. So the slope of that line is 0. Perpendicular must be that line, which is undefined. Let's move back to number 13. We'll take a look. Number 15 is missing an x. Guess what number 13 is missing? A y. Well, guys, if this is missing a y, it is a vertical line, which means it's undefined. That almost rhymes, and so does that. Vertical line, undefined. Parallel slope is also undefined. Therefore, the perpendicular slope must be 0. Okay, I don't know why I highlighted these. I just did. They're super easy. That's the cool part. Without graphing, determine the following sets of lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So all you're doing is you're going to answer one of these three things. Parallel means that the slopes are the same. Perpendicular means that the slopes are opposite reciprocals. Now, neither means that it's neither the same nor opposite reciprocal. So you got three choices. So take a look at number 16. Is 3/4 the same as 3/4? Yes. The lines are parallel. I'm going to write the symbol for parallel. Number 17. Is 3/4 the same as -3/4? No, it's not. So it's not parallel. Is 3/4 the opposite reciprocal of -3/4? Well, it is the opposite, but they're not reciprocals, so the answer to this is neither. Number 18. 3/4, 4/3. Well, are they the same? No. Are they opposite reciprocals? Well, they are reciprocals, but one's positive and the other one's positive, so they're not opposite reciprocals. So again, this one is neither. Number 19. 3 and negative 1/3. Well, certainly they're not the same. Well, are they opposite reciprocals? Is 3 over 1 the opposite of negative 1/3? It sure is the opposite. And guess what? They are reciprocals, so it is perpendicular. And the symbol for that's an upside down T. I'm going fast, but you'll get the gist. 1/2. And now this one I'm going to put a star by here. 1/2. So we can't tell what the slope of line B is by looking at it because it's not in slope-intercept form. This equation does not look like that. And we had enough practice doing that. We had an entire worksheet where we just isolated y. So guys, for number 20, you got to isolate y first because it's not in slope-intercept form. So in order to do that, hopefully you remember that you just move stuff over, get 3y equals negative 6x plus 18, and divide, I'm not going to yell, everything by 3, and you get y equals negative 6 over 3 is negative 2x plus 18 over 3 is 6. So, are 1/2 and negative 2 the same? No. Are they opposite reciprocals? Yes, they are. So these are perpendicular, which is that. Number 21, 3 and 1/3. Are they opposite are they the same? No. Are they opposite reciprocals? They're reciprocals, but they're not opposites. So the answer is neither. Number 22. So let's see. They're missing an x. They're both missing an x, guys. If they're missing an x, the slope of this is 0. And this one's missing an x. The slope of this is 0. So these are parallel. They're both horizontal lines. Last but not least, number 23. What's wrong with both of these equations? I'll put a star by it. It's an awful lot like number 20. What I hope you're saying now is that these two lines, we can't tell the slope because they're not in slope-intercept form. So let's do that really quick. I would subtract 4x from this side, and what would I end up with is 2y equals negative 4x minus 6, and divide by 2, and you end up with y equals 4 over 2 with a negative is negative 2x minus 3. Here's the slope of line A. This one's a mess. It's got a lot of stuff that we need to do, so let's simplify it first. So negative 6x plus y equals, distribute that, negative 4x, and negative times a negative is a positive 8. And you can hopefully see that all you need to do to isolate y is add 6x. So if I do that, you end up with y equals positive 2x plus 8. Now, 2 is the slope of this line, negative 2 is the slope of this line. They are opposites. Sorry about that. 2 is the slope of that line, negative 2 is the slope of that line. They are opposites, but they're not reciprocal, so the answer to this is neither. Whew. Sorry about this, I know it's long. Last two sections. Without graphing, determine whether they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So guys, I'm only going to do number 25, but 24 and 26 are the exact same thing. And I'll post it on my website if you want to see the work, how they look eventually. So number 25. So what do we need to determine if they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither? We need to find the slope. That's what we need to find. Well, guys, if they give us two ordered pairs, this is actually pretty easy. So if I call this line A and this line B, let's find the slope of line A. And you're going, well, how do I find the slope? Well, don't you just plug all this stuff into the slope formula? Remember? Just plug it in. So let's see. This is y2, so 7 minus 4 over 3 minus negative 3 equals 7 minus 4 is 3. 3 minus negative 3 is really 3 plus 3, which is 6 is 1/2. The slope of that one is 1/2. Do the other slope of line B. That minus that. So 6 minus 2, y2 minus y1, over negative 2 minus positive 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. Negative 2 minus 4 is what? Negative 6 has a slope of 2/3. Are they parallel? They don't have the same slope. Are they perpendicular? They're not opposite reciprocals. Sorry, this is negative. So the answer to this is neither. All right, since I'm out of time on these videos very quickly, I just finished these two for you. So these end up being perpendicular, these end up being parallel. Watch the video if you want to find out how. Okay, last set. Woo. Write the equation in line satisfying the given requirements. There are 2 of these on your test. Basically, this is a very important section. That's why I'm doing this video. In addition to the fact that I'm not here, is that you guys can watch this a few more times. Okay, if it's parallel to this, and my light. Okay, the parallel slope to this is the same, so I'm going to write the parallel slope is negative 1/4. It passes through this. So we want to write an equation that's parallel to this, but passes through this. So it's what we've done before. All you do is plug all this stuff into y equals mx plus b. So 3 equals negative 1/4. Why am I using that? Because it's the same slope when they're parallel. Times the x value of negative 6. So 3 is the y, equals the same slope, negative 6 plus b. Simplified, this is negative times a negative is a positive 6/4 plus b. 3 equals 6/4 is really 1.5 plus b. If I subtract 1.5 from both sides, you end up with b equals 1.5. There you go. You know the parallel slope. Now you know the new y-intercept, so the equation is y equals that slope plus that y-intercept. And yes, you can leave it as an improper fraction, but I like 1.5 because it tells us where it is on the graph. Okay, perpendicular to this. So right now, a perpendicular slope is the opposite reciprocal. So my perpendicular slope, and I write it like this, is to say, oh, if this is 1/6, it's going to be negative 1/6. I said 1/6. If this is 6/1, the perpendicular slope is negative 1/6. Same procedure, except you're plugging in this slope this time. Here's x, here's y. So negative 2 equals the new slope times x plus b. You can't get much easier than that. 1 times negative 1/6 is negative 1/6 plus b. Add a 6 to both sides. And when you do, you end up with b equals negative 2 plus a 6 is negative 1 5/6. Take your time and do it properly if you're not sure how. The equation therefore is y equals the new slope, negative 1/6 x, with the new y-intercept, 1 5/6. Last problems, guys. These are going to go fast. I have 1 minute and 40 seconds to do it. Here we go. Perpendicular to this. This is a vertical line. Therefore, perpendicular means the slope is going to be 0. That's awesome. It makes an easy number to plug in. Ready? Here we go. Y equals m x plus b. 0 times that, cancel. B is equal to 5. So, ladies and gentlemen, a perpendicular line that has a slope of 0 and a y-intercept of 5 is just y equals 5. Done. Last but not least, number 30 says it has a y-intercept of 2 and is parallel to the graph of this. So this graph is a horizontal line. So the parallel slope is still got a slope of 0 and has a y-intercept of 2. Guess what the y-intercept is? Isn't that b? Well, if it has a slope of 0 and a y-intercept of 2, the equation is y equals 2. Done. Congratulations. I finished with about 50 seconds left. So now, back to this awesome game called Stupid Ways to Die. Oh, you got to defend the piranhas. Oops. Uh-oh. Oh, game over. Adios.